Washington Drug and Alcohol, over the past 5 years, like any other county, saw a spike in overdose deaths, and those overdose deaths have decreased due to collaboration work that has happened throughout the county with our overdose task force. Washington County is blessed to have every level of treatment for an individual that's looking for treatment. So we have all the way from our detox centers all the way down to our three-quarter way houses, recovery houses. We have halfway houses. We have every level of care. So what we find here in Washington County is a lot of individuals come here for treatment and they stay because of the recovery process. Churches here in Washington County host 12-step meetings. They provide child care for the individuals who are coming to the meetings. They feed them. They are just a resource that has abundantly just surrounded the 12-step group and just made them part of their community. While Washington, again, is a huge recovery community and we are blessed with the services that we have here, the faith-based plays a vital role in that process to individuals finding recovery.
I worked in the car business. I was a manager of a car dealership. Addiction helped me lose everything that I had. I started my life as a very overweight man. I think I had an addiction problem my whole life, but I ended up having surgery to help me with that. And I ended up getting addicted to the pain medicine. And when it got to the point and I couldn't do that anymore, I found a much easier, cheaper way. At that time, heroin was my God. It was my everything. I lost my marriage and my relationship with my children, spending every penny I had to keep myself from being sick and not wanting to feel the shame that I created for myself. I ended up being homeless. Every relationship that I had with my brothers, with my parents, was shattered because of my actions. I took advantage of them, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to hurt anybody, so I didn't want to even be on this planet anymore. I never OD'd, but if I would have been perfectly fine with that. I came to the mission a broken man, extremely sad, extremely ashamed and embarrassed. And the guilt that I carried for so long from my addiction, I was able to find forgiveness and redemption. I went to the one rehab multiple times, and every Sunday they had a spirituality class. Doug Bush, every time that I was there, he was the guy that came in from the outside and talked about spirituality. The way he delivered that message, I knew exactly what he was talking about. It wasn't a higher power like a rock or the atmosphere. It was a higher power that I knew specifically. And when he delivered it, I just kind of sat back and I knew that that's exactly what I needed. When I finished rehab, they wanted to send me to a halfway house, extended services, 6-month halfway house, but it was more just 12-step recovery based, but no spirituality portion of it. And I specifically requested to come to the mission. And the funny thing is that when I got here, Doug remembered me. He remembered my name, he remembered my face. I call him my brother from another mother because the guy he's non-judgmental. It doesn't matter where you come from or who you are, he treats you the same. And he has a passion for people that are hurting. I've seen him weep so many times with just somebody telling their story. It's easy to be judgmental, but Doug knows exactly where people are. He accepts them right where they're at. He doesn't look at them and say, this guy's worse than I've ever was. That's not how he thinks. He looks at him and says, man, there's hope and there's a way to figure it out if you're willing to do the work. And he just loves on you until you can love yourself. When I got to the mission, I couldn't love myself. I hated who I was. And I walked around with my head down with so much shame. I couldn't look you in the eyes. I couldn't smile. I thought that my actions is what defines me, and that's exactly who I was. And he taught me that that's not who I am, that I'm so much more than that. And we talked so much, him and I, about identity. My identity when I got here was a poor father, a drug addict, and a loser and a failure. And he taught me that I was forgiven, loved, more than a conqueror, redeemed, restored. Nobody wants to be an addict. Nobody wants to live the way I was living. It's not normal. I used to always say, I just want to be normal. Why can't it just be normal? I'm not sure what normal is. But all I know is that if you treat somebody and make them feel like that they're not wanted, they're just going to go back to what they know. That's what made a difference in my life. Somebody just took the time to make me feel like I had some value. Because a lot of times people think they don't have any value. I see it all the time on the news. You know, we're disposable people. We throw people away. What if you can't get a benefit from that person? You don't even deal with them. You don't talk to them. Anyone can make a difference with just showing a little bit of kindness and reaching down and pulling that person up. When I finished the program here, I was actually blessed to be hired. One of my benefits and privileges is to work here with Doug. When I first started here, I worked as a residential assistant, which I got to sit down in the office, and every guy that walked in the door, I got to give a little bit of hope like somebody gave to me when I first got here. But I have an opportunity to watch Doug on a daily basis as far as how he interacts with the guys. You know, what's pretty cool is that he knows everybody's name. There's 80 men in this program right now, and he knows every one of their names. He knows their story. And to be able to be around that all day long is pretty amazing. These folks that work here can go and work anywhere and probably make a lot more money because a lot of them have master's degrees and life experience, but they choose to work right here to make a difference in people's lives. And they invest in people's lives, and especially Doug Bush. I'm very proud to call him my friend and my family. I feel like I have a family that I've learned to love and would do anything for because they did that for me when I got here. They loved me when I couldn't love myself.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.